Good morning, gladiators. We who are about to play Saludio! It is a very special episode of the Games Gladiator today because we're playing the much anticipated Swords and Sandals Classic Collection, which comes out on Steam today. By the time this video goes up, the collection should be launched on Steam. And of course, the link is below in the video if you want to check it out. This is a much requested series. So Swords and Sandals, of course, my game series. First came out in 2005 with Swords and Sandals 1, and I'm still making them today, but I get so many requests from people to put the games up on Steam, and because of many reasons, some technical, some contractual, some just time, it hadn't been possible until recently. And thank you to my great publishers at eGames for helping me to make this happen. We've been able to put them together in one download, one app, which you fire up, and you can play Swords and Sandals 1, 2, 3, 4, and Crusader via Steam. So that's pretty exciting, and that's what we're going to check out today. We're going to check out a couple of minutes of each of the games. Now, I know I've played these in earlier Games Gladiator episodes, so it's going to be a bit of a lightning tour of each of the games, just for fun. All right, let's jump in without any further ado into the classic Swords and Sandals Classic Collection. It's a mouthful when you say it like that. All right. Here we go. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite some time, put this together. It really is a project many years in the making. Behold! That, of course, is the title screen of the Classic Collection, and there's a bunch of images from the various games which I gathered, which I thought the fans might like. It sort of slowly rotates through, as you can see in the background. You've got all the various links to Twitter, Discord, the YouTube, everything Swords and Sandals related for the community. Your links are down there if you want to interact. Particularly the Discord channel. If you're on the YouTube channel and you're a fan of Swords and Sandals, please jump over to Discord and join us, because there's a bunch of great fans that love talking about the series. Okay, play classic series. Here is our friend Targan, the Armorer from Swords and Sandals 2. But we're going to play Swords and Sandals 1 first. Select your game, Gladiator. So you can see a little bit of text blurb about each of them. But Gladiator is what we're playing today. Here it is in all its glory. New Gladiator. Are you sure? Yes. Let's call this guy Oliver, because that's my name. I'm not going with anything too fancy. We can even make him look a bit like me. Let's do that. I've got a bit of a beard at the moment, as you can see, so we'll give myself a beard. There we go. That's good enough. Plenty of strength, some agility, attack, strength and agility. No, a bit. There we go. Done. Not everyone has seen this introduction, because in the Flash version that you saw online, this introduction wasn't available, but it is part of the Classic Collection for those who haven't seen it. It just basically sets the scene for how our Gladiator actually gets to Doomtrek. But we'll skip the rest of it and jump right in. Grab ourselves a weapon. This is probably the most fast-paced of all the Swords and Sandals games, because it is the simplest. Notice there's no shadows under anything, just like the classic. The background is much simpler. When you die, it's all over. Has none of the complexities of the second one. Wow, there's a lot of blocks in this one. Am I going to get a hit in? There we go. First hit, one death. And we all know what that means. It's time to sing. Gladiator. 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 Gladiator, gladiator. Yeah, I sang the original of that, in case you never knew that. It was my incredible voice. Incredible voice. I sung that when I was 24, 25, so many years ago. And who'd have thought that it would become such a beloved song? Such a simple song. I played it on my Casio keyboard. What I actually want to do for you guys in the next couple of weeks is actually put together a video on how to play the Sword and Sandals theme song on piano. Just a simple one, but a lot of people have been asking for the chords. And I'm not particularly musically literate in terms of knowing the right names for all the chords, but I can play the piano a little bit, and I would be glad to help you. Oh, the champion battle, Wolfgang, who of course is based on, if not me, an aspect of me. He sort of represents my more drunken, misspent youth, and of course, as a family man, I'm no longer that man. Oh, all right. Wolfgang has fallen. Do we want this weapon? Sure. You level up. All right, Sword and Sandals 1 done. Let's jump over to Swords and Sandals 2. So we're back at the title screen. One thing with the Classic Collection is when you quit a game, you got to go back to the desktop to load it up again. It was a weird thing to get these games to work and behave with Steam. I had to do a few funky tricks like that. So we're back at the title screen now, and we're playing Swords and Sandals 2. Because much of the code for these games is old. I mean, 2005 is when Swords and Sandals 1 first was released on like Newgrounds and Congregate and that kind of thing. But I'd actually been working on it, or versions of it, for years before that. Maybe even 2001 or 2000 were when the first vestiges of that were found. And I remember, there's actually a video of on my channel for Who Wants to Be a Gladiator, which was the original name for this. We'll call ourselves Maximus. Give you a random. Yeah, no. Yeah, that'll do. Actually looks a bit like Mr. T. So to get these games to work on Steam required a lot of mucking around, just in terms of, you wouldn't think it, but code ages and doesn't always work with more modern systems, and there were some tricks we had to do just to get this one working. He's our hero. Skip the introduction. Fighting, of course, the fearful prisoner. Everyone's favorite. Sword and Sandals 2 was, of course, an extension of the first one in that it built on the same game engine, and then I added all the things that I wanted to add in when I didn't have time, because I originally had planned, we're going to sing. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiator. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiator. Gladiator. I added in all the things that I wanted to put in the original, but I'd run out of time on, because often with these games, you don't know if they're going to be a hit, and if you're a game developer wanting to break into the market, you really want to build these things as simple as you can, as quick as you can, just to get a prototype up and running and make sure it does what it says it's going to do. And then once you get something that people like and you feel like it has a bit of a buzz, then you should maybe take it into an advanced direction like this. And for the purpose of this game, I added in the jewels and the magic shop and the church. Here we have a church. Speaking of churches, Notre Dame is burning. As I'm recording this game, this video will probably come out a day after, but that huge cathedral in France is burning to the ground. It's quite an incredible moment in time. Of course, over the history, over many years in history, cathedrals burn down all the time. You just have to look at the Great Fire of London and, of course, the Blitz in World War II. All sorts of cathedrals have been taken out through history, but not something you really see in the 21st century. And I'm sure it will be rebuilt, but still quite scary. I was there. I've been there a couple of times, most recently with my then girlfriend, now wife. What do we want to get? Shin guards? We were there a couple of years ago. We can't afford any of that. Help rescue the child. Yes. And it was spectacular. The cathedral was amazing. You go up in the rain and you look out over the gargoyles, over the city, and most of that has been lost as far as I can tell. A lot of the spire and all the wooden structures at the top. But the structure of the cathedral is still there, which is kind of cool. And you know that we will rebuild and use, you know, the best materials and as many. Yeah, it's still a bit of a shock. I woke up to hear it and was like, whoa. Anyway, back to Sword and Sandals, as we were talking about before I got so distracted. Working our way up. I usually build up these ones and ignore the other ones. Stamina I should have put a bit into. Your build may differ. Let's get ourselves a shield. Into the tournament. Oh dear. Got him. The tournament, of course, is to the death, which means it'll be all over for us should we lose. We have 2 more fights. Dupre the Nasty before we fight John the Butcher. Or 1 more fight. We are, of course, under armored. Such a simple game, really, and I think that's often what the appeal of it was. Not only just the cartoony effects and so on, but just the fact that you didn't have that many choices. I mean, you didn't really have to think about it, and you could have quick games like we're playing now. All right, time to face John the Butcher. I love that metal song. I didn't write that, unfortunately. That was just a freeware piece of music I found many years ago. That's why it's not on the channel like all the other music in the Sword and Sandals series, unfortunately. Ah, poison! You may even notice this game plays a little bit faster than the classic Sword and Sandals. I was actually able to increase the frame rate by a good 10 frames or so without making it unplayable. So you'll notice it's even more fast-paced than the classic. That was the only change I really made to the game. Alright, we've won! On to Swords and Sandals Crusader, which was next chronologically in the series. Swords and Sandals Crusader, 2007. As you can see, 2005 for Gladiator, 6 for Emperor's Reign, 3 was 2008, but I put them all numerically and then that one last. But Crusader! Oh, that's a high note. Can't really hit those notes anymore, sadly. As always, this is Sword and Sandals Crusader with the 4 different game modes available to players. In the Flash version, you couldn't play all 4 game modes unless you bought the whole thing, but they're all available to you now. Let's do Conquer the Realm. We'll do Conquer the Realm because put a bunch of foes in there. Let's play as the Evil He Chaos. 6 foes. 7 foes? Yeah, let's put everyone in there. Go crazy, right? So everyone's involved now. Conquer the Realm is, of course, a special game mode where you can make your own scenarios and not follow the campaign. Crusader is actually one of my favorites. It was based on Defender of the Crown, which was a really old strategy game from a company called Cinemaware back in the 80s. And I really liked the simplicity of it and the tactical nature, which when I was young, that made a big difference. Okay, when there's so many enemies, everyone takes their turn to think, so you have to be patient. Alright, so we want to buy some troops. Okay, we don't have much in the way of gold. Let's transfer our army. No, we can keep that. But it's been a little while since I've played it. Let's take that province. Oh, he's allied with me. Oh, that's right, I had the allies flag on. We will not attack him, but we will attack. So Belgrave. We have the advantage, 53% chance of victory, says the little fat kid. Let's take the field. A brawl at Arkmark. The combat itself was inspired by Ancient Art of War, which was a game from, I think, Rotobund, maybe. It was around that time, but it was in the early 80s. And I loved that game. That was another war game, which I didn't have that many games as a kid, but the ones I did, I played a ton of. And that was based on the book by Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese general and philosopher. A brilliant general, really, and he wrote a book called The Art of War. The full title of the game is The Ancient Art of War, of course. But the combat in that game was real-time, but it had this cool side-on view like this. And I actually originally had made a version of this game using real-time combat, but it was too hard to really see what was going on, so I switched it to turn-based. We're losing this battle. How is it so? Let's call in an airstrike. Bit of a dragon attack. Many people have asked me about the state of Sword and Sandals Crusader Redux or Sword and Sandals Crusader 2. There are no concrete plans to make that game. I had talked about it in the last couple of years, and I even might have mentioned at the end of one of the games that I would do a sequel. I'd planned to use the engine from Sword and Sandals Pirates to make a sequel, but just because I've moved over to Unity and all my focus is on Spartacus and, of course, Sword and Sandals 6, everything to do with that has just been put on the back burner, unfortunately. And I would love to make a sequel to it, but I'm going to wait. Once I learn more about Unity, I feel like I'll be able to make a decent sequel. Redux, it's hard to say. I might have the campaigns from the original and just put that as part of a sequel, play through the classic campaign. But I doubt I'll ever remake this game as is, just because it's so much work doing Redux games. It's like, it seems simple, but just going through all that old code is a nightmare. This game was from 2007, I think. And even just sifting through it to get it working as part of the classic collection is just a real head scratcher. There's so much that has changed. It's a miracle this stuff even works. And so the games are, I'd like to say they're bug-free. They pretty much are. But any bugs that they had back in 2007 are still going to be there. That's what you get with a classic collection. But you know what? You know these games. I know these games. They work. They're fun. We forgive their faults. Let's have one more battle, then we'll jump to the next game. King Lionel's campaign marches upon you at Arkmargius. Not a huge chance of victory. That's where we just were. Another snow battle. Well, we're going to lose this one, probably. Airstrike. Lucky we upgraded that. But no archers. He's using an airstrike on me. Destroyed! Alas! We've been defeated. Lost the progress. Retreat. Retreat. Alright, well that's Sword and Sandals Crusader. You know that game. For those who always wanted to play it on Steam, it's part of the Classic Collection, so there it is. Next, we move on to Swords and Sandals 3. Next up, Swords and Sandals 3 from 2008. Can you believe it? 2008. It's a long time ago. Gosh, time flies. It really goes fast. So, some people have asked about the multiplayer Ultratus version of this, of course the multiplayer version, and I wish I could have added that, but unfortunately it's long gone. It was all tied to a multiplayer server called SmartFox, which the old games used to use, and it's when the game changed hands to a new publisher and everything, all that stuff was shut down and lost. To tell the truth, it hadn't been working quite some time. Let's be a Yeti, that'll be fun. Even when it was working, it was unstable and the servers have been shut off for some years, so unfortunately it's probably never ever going to return. Having said that, the next Sword and Sandals I guarantee will be multiplayer and you'll be able to play against friends and foes alike, because I know how many people love the multiplayer component of it. Let's be a Yeti. We'll call it this Yeti Project Junior. Okay. Some of you may recall the Yeti Project, in fact, who was one of the more insidious arena champions and probably the toughest one to ever grace the Swords and Sandals world. This game is set about 20 years after Swords and Sandals Crusader, and of course Antares is long gone. You've got plenty of shops to visit. You can get helmets, capes and shields. Many of them are of a higher level than you. And they actually, some of them have magical properties. It's like this unholy Thracian helm, which allows you to, change your stats. But we are very, very far off going those, and we're probably pretty good with our fists anyway. So we're going to jump into the arena. Fight. Duke for Guilus. Swords and Sandals 3 was a slower paced game than Swords and Sandals 2, a more tactical game, more options. Some people preferred it. Looking back, I prefer Swords and Sandals 2. This feels a little clunkier, even though there's so many more tactics and features and so on. We spare his life. No! Crushed. Like that, the spare or kill kind of thing. It had the rock and roll soundtrack, the metal soundtrack. But I think there's a lot of the slowness was due to the multiplayer component. We had to wait for the other players' turn and so on. So it actually programmatically was kind of done in a way that players would slow down a little bit just so it could catch up. It's hard to explain. And the animations are pretty cool, but they don't always feel like they hit due to the complexity of the characters. But hey, there's a lot to like about this game. It has so many arena champions, tons of variety of weapons and so on. I don't want to discourage anyone. I prefer 2, but 3 is pretty cool. We're romping our way through these guys. Taunt him. Rah! You've got things like unholy powers that can use to get health back. And of course different cameras. You can zoom right out, zoom back in, focus on one guy, the other guy. When I finally get around to doing Swords and Sandals 6, it will probably be as fast-paced as 2, but would have the depth of 3. That would be my ideal kind of crossover. The complexity of weapons and that kind of thing. Or we're fighting in the lava field underground. Oh, this guy is a magician and he's much stronger than us. Will he save us? Ah, what a nice guy. Saved our life. Ah, how embarrassing. Did a little wee. let's take down this other guy. I really should have bought some armor and weapons, shouldn't I? I've just been rushing from fight to fight. Yeah, it's a bit tough without a weapon. You don't do much damage. Rah. Some of these fights feel like they go forever, especially when you don't have any armor weapon. Oh, the battle trance. Oh, he's got it, not us. That sucks. But neither of us brought a weapon into the fight. Foolishly so. Without any magic powers or anything, it's really just a click the button. But now we have battle trance, so we should be able to take him out now. Spare his life? No. That's because you made the battle boring. Somehow a green gelatinous character has red blood. Gladiator! 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 That's sung by my old friend Gabriel Castro, the death metal musician. Let's try and fight the arena champion. There are many, as you can see, but going right up. There are something like 20 plus arena champions. So we're going to fight the fearful prisoner first. This will be a short fight. Dead. Just like that. Alright, let's leave Swords and Sandals 3 and jump into Swords and Sandals 4. As I wee myself once again. Of course, the final game in this series, Swords and Sandals 4, 2009, was probably the most different of all the Swords and Sandals games. It was really a collection of mini games and sort of based around Mario Party inspired, really. I always liked that little one banner. Swords and Sandals 4, Tavern Quest. It had a sort of Dungeons and Dragons inspired vibe to it with the Fat Kid and Wolfgang, the Chaos, John the Butcher, and our hero here. And of course, the characters from the various games. Sitting around. You can play these mini games once you've earned them. You can jump in and play all 23 of them. It's quite a lot. Hang on. 19 mini games. But we won't be doing that right now. Let's begin a new quest. How many games? 2 gladiators. We'll load a save gladiator. You'll do. You can actually play against other computers as well. Other players, human or computer, that kind of thing. Choose a human. We'll go with computer right now. So if you have a friend or a brother and sister you want to play next to each other, you can do that. It was always designed to be a local multiplayer game, just to kind of that turn-based hot seat style game, which was popular some years ago. But we'll play that particular board. The Vale of Heroes. I mean, it really was inspired by Mario Party, as you can see by the coloured square circles, and each one signifies something different. You know, blue is get some coins, green is a minigame. Let's play a minigame, win some gold. Boulder of Doom! Take control of a molten ball of flaming rock as it carves a path of devastation through the Badlands. Crush all in your path for gold, but do not hit rocks and trees or it's all over. Get ready. Alright, so we move with the mouse. So we're trying to pick up some gladiators along the way without hitting a rock. Where are those gladiators? It's not very fair. We haven't seen any yet. Bit of bad luck. There's one. Oh, crashed. They're all designed to be simple games, you know, like mini games often are, played within a few seconds. And the idea is the first one to reach the flag wins, or if you defeat your enemy along the way, the game ends. And based on how you performed in the game, Oh, we have to fight. Okay. You earn sandals for your victories and losses. And the combat was based on Sword and Sandals 3 because that was the engine I was using at the time. But instead of shops through the game, you actually, at the end of the level, you can buy things. We lost! Damn. It's a shame. I got a bit of a love-hate thing with Sword and Sandals 4. I, for a while, was really down on it, but hearing how much some people love the game has kind of given me a newfound appreciation of the series. And it is fun in its own way, you know. There is a lot to like about the quirkiness of it and all the mini-games. Ah, damn. Lose a turn. And it reminds me a little bit of board games like Talisman, those kind of things, you know. But between 4 and 5, the series certainly went off course. Let's play another minigame. And then, of course, Medieval and Pirates. It's been a long time since I've made an actual pure Gladiator game. Doing some golf putting. Oh, come on. Boo. So that's why the next game will, of course, be purely Gladiator combat focused. I'm getting back into the arena, and I really say this without too much hyperbole. I really feel like it will be, you know, the definitive Sword and Sandals. We're gonna play a game? Yeah. We earn a sandal. Awesome. Yay, another turn. We can summon him and fight him to the death. Let's do that. Ah, he gets to choose. He's afraid of fighting to the death. Again, until you have the good weapons, these combats can be a bit tedious. Or simplistic, if you will. Ah, we lost. Delayed 3 turns. That's going to make for some compelling viewing. So we get 3 turns in a row now. We're both frozen. Okay, so now I can fight him to the death. We'll end this and go straight to the winner's circle, or the final podium. I'm fairly confident I'll win this because I got that sandal, and I probably have got enough gold to... Although losing that battle could hurt us. All human players are out of the game. As you can see, our hero fades out. Off to the final screen. Game is over. It's time. Nobody reached the flag. Most gold, we won 1 sandal. We have 2 sandals. He won the most fights. Most gold for minigames. Ah, I thought we'd win that one. It's a tie. If it's a tie, it goes to the person with the total amount of gold. So we had more gold than him. First place, hurrah! And you can, of course, then go to the shops and buy your weapons. Yeah, so that, my friends, is the Swords and Sandals Classic Collection. Oh, there we are. Let me know what you think. Are you excited? It's coming out in the next day or two, and I'm just so happy to be able to bring it to you at long last. It has been many years since these games were first available, and now they're finally together. And they'll, you know, with Flash sort of disappearing from the internet, there was a lot of speculation that maybe these games will be lost forever. But at least for now, they're preserved, and they're yours to keep forever if you choose to on Steam. All right, I look forward to seeing you next time on the Games Gladiator, and The games will be available on Steam from today or tomorrow as soon as they go up, and I look forward to your reviews. If you enjoy the games, please give them a positive review on Steam because it makes a big difference, especially early on when you're trying to get up the rankings in Steam. All right, everybody. Cheers and bye for now.